Arizona Cardinals quarterback Kyler Murray continues to be one of the more polarizing figures, not only in Arizona sports, but the entire National Football League. And the latest case study of that was revealed by The Athletic, who pieced together a list of NFL quarterback rankings comprised of opinions from former and current NFL head coaches, GMs, coordinators, and all of that good stuff. Now, I think the placement of Kyler on this list, which you can see on the screen, number 15 there, I don't think is too controversial. You can move him a couple spots up or down, and I would still be fine with it. Personally, I don't think Brock Purdy is a better quarterback than Kyler Murray, is what it is. Also, if we're going to critique the list a little bit more, why are Josh Allen and Lamar Jackson not in the same tier as Patrick Mahomes and Joe Burrow? You can also make an argument that Stafford shouldn't be in the same tier as Allen and Jackson, but quarterback play, football is a team sport. You got different tastes, different strokes for different folks. And it is what it is. Although I do think it is very funny how down at the bottom, pick number 34, Kenny Pickett has his own tier / category, which is something. But regardless, we're here to talk about Kyler Murray, the former number 1 overall pick and Heisman Trophy winner. And like I said a little bit earlier, it's not necessarily the rankings that got people going and talking about where Kyler landed on the list, but more so what was said about Kyler from the former and current NFL GMs, coaches, etc. And the list placed Kyler Murray as a third-tier quarterback. Tier 1, best of the best. Tier number 2, really, really good, borderline great. And tier number 3 was described by The Athletic as basically saying he's a good quarterback, but can't necessarily lead a 2-minute drill, and they need a strong defense to kind of counteract them. Basically saying Kyler Murray could not deliver on his own and carry the Arizona Cardinals to wins whenever called upon and whenever those expectations are placed on his own shoulders. Now, we've seen Kyler for 6 years in the National Football League. We've seen some highs. We've seen some lows. It's been a very roller coaster Kyler Murray experience since he first arrived to the league. Rookie of the Year winner. Things look very, very promising. It looked like him and Cliff Kingsbury had maybe figured some things out. 2021, everybody remembers that phenomenal start to the regular season before things collapsed, and things really haven't been the same since then. But Jonathan Gannon takes over in 2023. The team looks anew. A re-identification of the culture, what it means to be an Arizona Cardinal, was brought on by Gannon and his staff. And as we enter 2025, the third year for Kyler Murray under offensive coordinator Drew Petzing, his second season full-time, because remember, whenever Petzing got here in 2023, Kyler was still rehabbing that torn ACL. He didn't come back until about halfway through that season. So 2024 was his first full season under Petzing. Saw some good, saw some bad. Apparently during the offseason, Jonathan Gannon told us that they tore down the playbooks and redid them, kind of built it from the ground up. And we've seen the offense look a little bit different in training camp, a little bit more motion, a little bit eye candy for the defense. It looks like Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to take the next step in 2025, which I think is extremely exciting. But nonetheless, the Arizona Cardinals are only going to go as far as Kyler Murray takes them. Now, what was said about Murray by different coaches from The Athletic, these are screenshots from the actual article itself. I will link that in the description below. It is behind a paywall, I do believe. So just be warned. One defensive coach said, I played him too much, and I still think he's a 3, as in a tier 3 quarterback. I don't think he wins it for you in the 2-minute drill. If you want to be in the top half of this league, you have to win the 2-minute drill and control it. He does not do that. Another coach said, it creates a mismatch with his legs, not his arm. He's tier 3 with a good-looking baseball side after his fourth quarter scramble in a 2-minute drill. And then another offensive coach said, Kyler to me is a tough one. He's probably in that tier 3 category. You have to have a strong defense. He has not shown an ability to win it on his own. Now, I do want to preface this by saying that I am a Kyler Murray guy. I am rooting for Kyler Murray to win. I've been very blessed and fortunate to have been doing this full-time as a media member for what will be year number 4 now with the Arizona Cardinals. I've had really good conversations with Kyler. I think he's a great dude. And I see the upside. I see the potential. And I was that way for a very long time. I still am that way. But at the end of last year, after the Cardinals again collapsed, I remember hopping on this very YouTube channel and saying, you know what? I'm ready for the conversation to start about Kyler. I'm ready for it. And the Cardinals upgraded the defense in a massive, massive way this offseason. Didn't really touch the offense. They're banking on the power of friendship and continuity and another year together. to really take things from step one to step two. I think the aforementioned jump by Marvin Harrison Jr. is going to carry a lot of weight whenever it comes to that. But I still think there's a lot of not misconceptions about Kyler, but maybe some narratives that aren't maybe 100% accurate online after he threw that pick against the Kansas City Chiefs in the opening preseason game. You saw all the Call of Duty jokes, everything that's basically ran its course before kind of rehashed whenever Kyler, and I think admittedly so, just made a very, very poor decision. But it's preseason, he's trying things out. He hasn't really seen live action like that in a minute, so it's what it is. I'm not going to hold it against him too much. I do think the whole winning coming from behind, if you need to have it in a 2-minute drill, I don't think that narrative is correct. I really, really don't. I remember a handful of games last year, the Dolphins game, I believe the Chargers game on Monday Night Football, where the Cardinals needed to have a good drive to put themselves in field goal position to win. And Kyler drove them down the field. And he got them to where they needed to be. Chad Ryland booted it in. And before he knew it, the Cardinals were entering the bye week with a 6-4 record, top of the division. Now, on the flip side of that, back end of the schedule, we saw instances where Kyler again was in the same position and couldn't deliver. Just didn't deliver for X, Y, or Z reason. I think he's shown the ability to command a 2-minute draw. I don't think that's a problem. The mismatch with his legs comment, I think, is very, very accurate. I think his arm is fine. The deep ball accuracy numbers will debate that heavily against me, but I still think he's capable of making any throw on the football field, short, intermediate, long, whatever it might be. I think he sees the field very well. I think he anticipates the field very well. Overall, to me, it just comes down to decision making and what he's able to do consistently. And that's been the story with Kyler for a handful of years now, because everybody knows the talent. Everybody sees how talented he is, how crazy athletic he is as a quarterback, while also having the arm talent to make all of these crazy throws that we see, I feel like, on a regular basis. But whenever it comes to his actual play, they just need him to be consistent. And maybe that comes with the improved defense and maybe him not having to play superhero ball every week. Hopefully that bodes true in 2025 to where he doesn't feel the need to go out and throw 4 touchdowns every week. That's not what's being required of him. But I also want to point out that the Cardinals offense itself, within its operating structure under Drew Petzing, also isn't the friendliest to run a 2-minute drill as well. The Cardinals offense is not built to play from behind. Drew Petzing's system is heavily run focused. And it always will be, regardless of who they have at quarterback or receiver. They're going to run the ball. They're going to do it 30 to 35 times a game. They're going to control the clock. They're going to wear you out over the course of 4 quarters. And that worked for the first half of 2024. But I think the problem we saw the Cardinals run into was whenever teams were able to stack the box and stop the Cardinals from establishing the run early on in games, and they got down 10, 14 points. What did we see? They forced the Cardinals to become one-dimensional, forcing them into early and obvious passing down situations. And the Cardinals just couldn't get it done for whatever reason. Couldn't get it done. Not adding any more weapons to their repertoire in 2025, I think, was a mistake. Whether they tried to and couldn't, or whether they ignored a position, are two totally different trains of thought. I'm not sure which one's reality. But the reality is that they're walking into 2025 with the same group of receivers as they did in 2024. And Zay Jones looks like he's going to be, the starting receiver this upcoming season at the slot position, wide receiver 3 instead of Greg Dortch. What that does differently, I'm not sure. And then bringing it up for a third time, Marvin Harrison Jr. looks phenomenal in training camp. I do think a big sophomore surge is in store for him. How much that changes things, I'm hoping for the best. I'm not really sure. Overall, though, it's tough to evaluate Kyler Murray after just 1 year in Petzing's offense and a very up and down career in general. And I think that's where the split divides people in the camp of Kyler Murray or not Kyler Murray. It's tough. It's really, really tough to evaluate Kyler and what we've seen out of him so far. But I think the one thing that can't be debated is he just needs to play more consistently. And it's so funny because he talked to us last week in a press conference and said the greats that play in the NFL don't get tired of doing the same thing over and over again. They take the easy 5-yard out route over and over and over again. That's what makes people and quarterbacks in the NFL great. If he can do that, if he can take what the defense gives him, and if he can not try to put the cape on every Sunday and just be that quote unquote game manager, and I know there's a stigma whenever people say that, but if Kyler can just manage the game, run the offense within its parameters, and make plays when needed to, I think the Cardinals will be in business. I fully expect them to be a playoff team this year. And I think Kyler Murray is going to be a big part of that. Now, moving on, there are a couple more quotes from The Athletic I do want to hit. One defensive coordinator said, I think he grew a lot last year. He was a problem for sure when we played him. He cut down turnovers, used his legs a lot more, came into his own after the injury. And then another GM finished off the article by saying, I still don't trust him. He has tier 2 talent, but is still a tier 3 quarterback to me. Is he committed to it? He always tends to tail off as the season goes on. Now, that is a true narrative. I feel like Murray and the Cardinals the last few years just haven't been able to get it done in the second half of the season. I'm not sure what it is. I'm not sure what gets into the water around like mid-November here in the desert. It's not good. Whatever's in the water, it's not good. I think it's possible to think that Kyler did grow a lot last year, like the defensive coordinator said on the screen. He was a problem with his legs. He did cut down on turnovers, and he did come into his own after the injury. And it is also important to remember that when players tear their ACLs, you hear it all the time. They never feel like themselves until the year after they come back. So basically 2 years removed from ACL surgery, that's when they really start to feel like themselves. And we've kind of picked that up from Kyler in his press conferences. Training camp, he hasn't looked night and day different, which I don't know if that's like a good or bad thing. He looks like Kyler Murray typically does. But like this is just so evident to me that like even entering his 7th year, fans don't know exactly what Kyler Murray is. Media don't exactly know what Kyler Murray is. The NFL still doesn't know what Kyler Murray is. The Cardinals love him. They make it well aware in press conferences. They say it over microphones. That's all good and dandy. But talking to people behind the scenes, no mics, no cameras recording, they do love Kyler Murray. I promise you. I've heard it. I've seen it. They love Kyler Murray. Whether that changes after 2025, I'm not sure. But I think one of the reasons why I'm most excited for this year is because we're going to get answers. We are going to find out if the Cardinals don't make the postseason, what the problem is. Is it a Drew Petzing problem? Is it a Kyler Murray problem? Is it a mix of both? Is it neither? 2025, the third year under Jonathan Gannon, the third year under Drew Petzing, we are going to get answers. We are going to find out if this is this big make or break Kyler Murray year, if he ascends into the top 10 quarterback, everybody, including me, wants him to be, or if Kyler's just going to be that like good, but like can't really reach consistently great levels of play. We're going to find out. Kyler has a perfect opportunity to silence all the critics, all the haters, all the doubters moving to 2025. Not off to a great start with the interception in preseason. I'll give all the haters that, but still exciting. That continuity hopefully is going to help him. The offensive line for the short amount of snaps we saw in preseason looks good. So like hopefully protection won't be an issue for him. The dominoes are going to fall. And I think everybody watching this video, everybody who shows up to State Farm Stadium on a regular basis is rooting for Kyler Murray. I think it's absolutely insane that there are Cardinals fans that actively root against him. Baffling to me. Baffling. The success of your favorite football team rides on the shoulders of a quarterback that you hate. It just doesn't make sense to me. But that's neither here nor there. The opinions are split on Kyler, but it's still very evident that the NFL still really wants to see it before they believe it from the Cardinals franchise quarterback. So shout out to The Athletic. That was a phenomenal article. Like I said, I'm going to link it in the description below. I'm also going to link a couple of other articles that we did at astro.com/NFL/Cardinals in the description as well. Thank you everybody for tuning in, checking it out. I try to keep this short, little Tuesday morning coffee, cards and coffee for you guys. I think I'll start doing these a little bit more. Thanks everybody for the love and support, checking us out. We'll see you guys soon. Appreciate you guys.